All right. Hello, boys. How's everybody doing? And girls, we're inclusive here. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing great. I hope everyone's doing amazing because I know I am. My name is Chad. I'm a motion designer and I'm learning to draw every day just to prove to people that it's not that hard. All right. Yes. This is the external drive. I'm gonna put it here. I've been doing some drawing outside of the stream, and okay, this is insane. I just opened this book that I used to, write some stuff on, draw some stuff, whatever. It was like a MISC sort of notebook, and this is what I found. This is me trying to draw a body like a couple of months, but not a couple of months. I think this is very old. This is like towards the beginning of these streams, and that I think I accidentally drew a breast here. This is supposed to be an elbow that's just like going towards this direction, and that looks like a very subtle breast, and this butt with a very small butt. But yeah, I don't hate the lines. I think the lines are great. There's a cool S here, S curve. Anyways, where? This is what I drew. I don't think this is going to be visible since this is the pencil is not very. But this is something that I've done as well. I don't know. I can't see it. Can you guys see it? It's a bit of a sketch with a very dull pencil. Yes. Hopefully I get like a new notebook tomorrow. There's an event. Honestly, I feel like I only go to the events for the notebooks. Anyways, yes. So I need to get the video, which I forgot to do. So we're gonna do it now. In the meantime, while we wait, we can draw something. And I'm gonna keep drawing Mob Psycho because I absolutely love that anime. So this is rib cages, bada bing bada boom. How to draw the pelvis from any angle. I low-key don't want to draw pelvises, man. Excuse me. Boy, what the hell, boy? Excuse me. Venus flytrap. It's fun. Man in large boots. Boots. Boy, what the hell, boy? Oh, there's an SREF. Of course. This is hilarious. so freaking badass in this episode. Like, it's insane. Oh, Lord. What do I do, brother? Look, the computer is full, by the way. Okay, I'm gonna try to do something. If this doesn't work, then we're gonna spend the stream freaking troubleshooting how to make freaking Photoshop works. Damn. So this works, great. And if we plug this here, does it work too? Yes, yes. No. This is, okay, interesting. I plugged the external drive to this like USB hub thing that I bought, and it didn't want to work. Interesting. Oh, no, it's blue. It's blue, but it's not reading. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Alright, let's move it in here, since this one, we know this one worked. Okay, I see you. So it doesn't want to work. Alright, I got another workaround. So we're gonna plug this here. And then what we do is take out the mouse, plug this one here. Yes, you're reading. Good boy. Plug this one in here, and the mouse doesn't work. Gosh darn it. You know what? I think this is sufficient. This is enough. The mouse works. Hold on. Wait a minute. And we can start Photoshop. Yes, please. Dude, I don't care. No, fine. God. Hopefully this is gonna work fine. Just okay. Select color range. Dude, I want to select the white stuff, only the white pixels. Ah, that's cool, that's cool. Invert. There we go. Goodbye. Apply. Markiplier. We done downloading? Damn. Let me try to download. Let me try to draw this at least. We're gonna keep going with this color. Don't matter. Ow! Flip. Oh, this color sucks. I can't see it. Okay. Now this is an interesting pose. The ear is almost in the middle. The ear's like here. Come on, bruh. No, my God. Please? Son of a gun. Such a waste of money, this freaking thing. Alright, there's the circle, and this one just like barely goes past it. Why are you doing, like, it's fine, it's fine. I know why. I know why. We don't need to trip. What? Are you kidding me? This hand is very beautiful. All of like the components are up, if that makes sense. Okay, very fun pose. I like it. Alright, let's watch the video now.
Last time we learned a whole bunch of anatomy about the pelvis and how a bucket can help us draw the simple forms.
Right.
Now let's take it a step further and put a pelvis in that bucket.
Impossible.
If you haven't seen the previous episode, about the anatomy of the pelvis, you might get confused. This method of constructing the pelvis from nothing is most useful when you're drawing from imagination. That's really the goal of this whole course, to set you up to be able to draw the anatomy of the body from the vision in your mind. You'll be able to construct the forms starting with the skeleton and build the
That's insane the way he's just done
muscles over that. Premium students, you can start your first few drawings using the 3D model, but then try to do some from your imagination. You want to get this construction down well enough that you can do it in your sleep. Okay, let's get started.
You're asking
Step
for
one,
very...
the bucket. So I'm imagining a 3/4 front view pointing to our right. It's not tilted up or down, it's in a neutral anatomical position. Remember, a neutral pelvis simplifies to a bucket that tilts forward. But that doesn't mean the person is actually tilting their pelvis forward from neutral. This is not neutral. This is neutral. Let's start with the ellipse of the top cap, the lid of the bucket.
No cap.
The roundness of the ellipse will be based on how much of the top plane we are seeing. The angle of the ellipse will...
Oh, by the way, before we make the mistake... What the hell? Why am I frozen? What is happening? Oh, we're back. What the flip? Before we make yesterday's mistake, let me skim the video. Alright, good. No. We're good, we're safe.
Remember, a neutral pelvis simplifies to a bucket that tilts forward. But that doesn't mean the person is actually tilting their pelvis forward from neutral. This is not neutral. This is neutral. Let's start with the ellipse of the top cap, the lid of the bucket. The roundness of the ellipse will be based on how much of the top plane we are seeing. The angle of the ellipse will depend on the long axis of the bucket. The long axis is the line from the center of the top to the center of the bottom plane. The angle of the ellipse on a perfectly round bucket is perpendicular to that long axis. Okay, now let's take a little side trip to explain some perspective. Since the caps of the pelvis bucket are not perfect circles, the ellipse angle will be shifted toward the angle of the horizontal axis angle. That's the angle between the two ACES points. The more the circle gets squished towards this horizontal, the more it will match that angle, eventually just becoming that line. This is unnecessarily complicated though. If you just make the angle perpendicular to the long axis, you'll be fine. Just keep in mind that there is some crazy complicated perspective at play that you're intentionally ignoring to make this process simpler. The point here is to develop a process that's easy to implement. If it's too hard, it's unlikely we will use it. Let's continue. Now find the sides of the bucket. Make sure you follow the original angle of the long axis. Finally, cap off the bottom of the bucket. Step 2. Cut out a wedge. After establishing the simple bucket, we need to cut out this wedge shape from the front top half of the bucket. The edges of the wedge align with some of the landmarks, so the placement is not ambiguous. I like to find some construction lines to get the placement of the wedge precise. I'll start by gridding out the top plane. Put a dot in the center of the top plane. Find an angle from side to side. In our case, it's horizontal. In some cases, when the pelvis is tilted, or when the horizon is above or below the pelvis, this angle will not be horizontal. Then find an angle from back to front. I like to continue these lines all around the bucket as if they're rubber bands. Even ghost them in the back planes a bit later. Okay, so now these lines will help us take out the wedge. The top corners are at the ACES points.
That's beautiful.
That edge between the ACES points is 1/3 of the way down from the center to the front. Put a line parallel to the horizontal line, and now we have the ACES landmarks. The pubic symphysis is halfway down the front plane. From there, wrap a rubber band around the bucket. Yay, another side trip. So this rubber band we just wrapped around the bucket is not parallel to the lid and base of the bucket. You can see this better from side view. In the front, it crosses the halfway mark, but in the back, it's 1/3 from the top.
Nah.
This lines up with the top of the sacrum, which you'll see later in this episode. And the angle of this plane is also the angle of the inlet of the pelvis. Okay, let's continue.
Really?
Drop vertical lines from the ACES points to that rubber band. Connect these two corners, and there you go. You've cut out the wedge.
Yeah, he just
I'm going to find one more construction line before I move on to the next step of drawing the actual forms of the pelvis. Similar to this front edge of the iliac crest, I want to find the back edge. This one is halfway between the center to the back.
Okay.
Now, these two dots represent the vertical peak of the iliac crest. From there, the crest drops down toward the Pelvises points behind the sacrum. So, this section of the top ellipse represents this half of the iliac crest, not the entire iliac crest. Now we're ready for the final step. Step 3. Draw the rest of the pelvis.
What?
Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to actually draw this complex pelvis shape in this bucket. Let's start from the top and work our way down. The iliac crest has some thickness, so I'll indicate the top plane. From these points, the crest drops down toward the sacrum, so let's find the sacrum. The top of the sacrum is 1/3 of the way down the back plane. This vertical line I drew earlier is the back plane. Okay, so 1/3 from the top is the top of the sacrum. Now we can drop the iliac crest behind the sacrum. From this point of view, the left side is very foreshortened and the right side is not.
Okay. Confusion time. All right.
Of the way down the back plane. From these points, the crest drops down toward the sacrum. So let's find the sacrum.
Wait. You can't just start naming stuff like that, and I haven't memorized it yet. The sacrum? Right. That's the, okay.
The top of the sacrum is 1/3 of the way down the back plane.
1/3 of the way down the back plane. Meaning that you're just like 1/3. Okay, so it is 2/3.
This vertical line I drew earlier is the back plane.
Right.
Okay, so 1/3 from the top is the top of the sacrum. Now we can drop the
1/3 from the top is the top of the
iliac crest behind the sacrum.
Right.
From this point of view, the left side is very foreshortened and the right side is not.
Right.
This wedge shape we found is pretty much the final shape. Just round
look at
off
that.
the corner a little bit to make some more room for the acetabulum.
That looks fun.
From there, go about 1/3 of the way down for the
Oh my god, bro.
height of the cartilage. And then a V shape for the pubic arch. Follow this arch of the ischium around a bit and then up toward the iliac crest. The side plane of the ilium is concave, widening at the top to the iliac crest and at the bottom to the acetabulum.
The pencil
The
he's drawn
acetabulum
with.
is that socket for the femur bone. It's really round and deep. And down here, since we're looking at the inside of the form, we'll see this side plane that shows the thickness. A softened triangular shape for the hole. Okay, let's
Hole?
add the sacrum in the back.
Wait,
Draw-
there's a hole there? Oh, yes, there is.
A rectangular shape representing the top plane of the sacrum. This top plane tilts forward more than the bucket itself. So this line from back to front will be more vertical than the line of the back to front of the bucket. From the top plane, let's extrude a curved triangular form for the rest of the sacrum. The tip from the coccyx should touch the base of the bucket right in the center. From this front edge of the sacrum, extend a curve around the inlet and connect it to the pubic symphysis. And finally, through this hole of the inlet, we're going to see the back edge of the ischium. There you go, a manageable construction of the pelvis.
What
This
the
pelvis
hell,
has
bro?
accurately simplified forms, accurate placement of the landmarks, and accurate perspective.
No, actually, no. Wait, I didn't understand the last part. What am I even looking at here? Can you frick off? Oh my god. Like, what happened around here? Wait, I'm making a copy of this. I'm gonna do it like this. Grab this one here. Let's see. I'm gonna take a screenshot. I just want to compare whatever he drew to an actual like image of the pelvis, because that was towards the end. It was confusing to me. No, not you, not you. Photoshop, yes. Yo, Keanu, what's up, man? How are you, my brother? There's... there's these two circles. By the way, I feel like we should be able to see the edge of the circle at least here, this opening. But whatever. But what the flip happened here? Oh, no, never mind. I understand. This is like, this is, wait, I can draw. Like this. Dude, can you allow me to draw? Damn. Like this right here, this is the piece, which is this one. All right. And it probably goes like this, and like, I don't know, honestly, but it's this one right here. And this sort of like thing is the continuation of, this is the back of this right here, you know. But it was weird. He started it from this point, which was confusing to me. Come on. Well, he started it from here, like, oh, that's true, it's true. It starts from the middle in here. That's right. Right. So probably going around like this then, yeah? Or maybe not. Maybe it's just, I'm not sure, honestly. Maybe it's like this. This is the actual just like bone. Obviously a simplification of it. And then this one turns around, and then this one is just honestly, I don't know what goes on here yet. I don't know. I think it's something like this, or something like this. Yeah, anyways, let's get back to the video and let's watch that little part again.
More vertical than the line of the back to front of the bucket.
Right.
From the top plane, let's extrude a curved triangular form for the rest of the sacrum. The tip from the coccyx should touch the base of the bucket right in the center. From this front edge of the sacrum, extend a curve around the inlet and connect it to the pubic symphysis. And finally, through this hole of the inlet, we're going to see the back edge of the ischium. There you go, a manageable construction of the pelvis. This pelvis has accurately simplified forms, accurate placement of the landmarks, and accurate perspective. Basically, this method of construction enables you to manage the complex forms of the pelvis while keeping everything where it needs to be. Once we're able to do the same thing for the entire skeleton, we'll be able to pose the skeleton as we wish from our imagination. Then we can attach the muscles to the appropriate origins and insertions, and we'll have a complete body, all from our mind. How cool is that? Assignment. So your assignment for this week is to do 3 drawings using the 3D model. Pose it however you want and draw it the way I described in this video. Start with the bucket, cut out a wedge, and then draw the pelvis inside. Then, after you did 3 drawings from the 3D model, draw 3 more from your imagination.
Wow.
That's it. Thanks for watching. If you're posting your drawings, use hashtag Proco. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram.
All right.
If you like this video, share
and Facebook. Sure. Have you ever seen Cynix's videos on YouTube? I have. Matter of fact, I've done a whole month trying to follow one of his advices, which is basically to just like, because sometimes, or most of the time, I found myself just like trying to follow a reference, but only drawing it once and never visiting it again, making it kind of difficult for me to retain any sort of like benefit from actually drawing it or trying to draw that reference. So what his advice was, it was to draw something, take whatever reference, and then draw it once, and then
see what you kind of messed up in the first trial, and then draw it again and try to fix what you messed up on the first try, and then from the second time to the third time try to fix that, and so on and so forth, right? And so every day I've picked a reference and I drew it 5 times, trying to improve upon the last time every day. Basically, I've done that for a month, and yeah, that was good. It was good advice. Kind of sucks that I didn't keep following that advice. I've only basically done it for just that week, just that month. But yeah, Cynics is great. Like, I take everything that man says for granted, you know? Okay. It sucks that they haven't uploaded. Oh, no. I've been talking about something else, have I? Oh, wait, Cynics. Oh, this is Cynics. What? Who's it? Who's it called? What's his name? Damn, I forgot his name. What? The person I've been talking about is not Cynics. It's drawing advice for beginners. No, it's not the name of the video. Oh, it's Psychra. Yes, Psychra, right? Psychra? Drawing? Yes, it's Psychra. Bro, I got them confused. Especially his anatomy quick tips. Okay. I've seen a new video from Cynics, by the way. It's been recommended to me. It's Psychra. The person I'm talking about is Psychra. Yeah, it's a design theory, or the design theory economy. I don't know what it's about. We can watch it. We can watch it now. Shut up. I've never actually seen one of his videos, by the way. Yes.
Hey everyone, Cynics here, and it's time for another design theory video. Today we're going to discuss design economy, but if you stick around, maybe I'll ramble afterwards about actual economics. So, what is design economy, and how can you make the line go up on your designs? Well, for the purposes of this video, we're going to use the word economy to refer to how we ration out excitement in a design so that we can spend it where we want and not just make everything chaotic. In previous videos, I talked about how compositions are built around managing your focal interests so that the viewer's eyes are guided clearly and confidently. This is very similar in theory, like all things in art, but we're going to use the word economy to talk about the overall shape breakdown and silhouette of a design. That means this video will also be a spiritual sequel to the videos about big, medium, small, and shape appeal, as these concepts are all intertwined and relatively the same in theory. Once again, I will reiterate that all creative things revolve around a basic aesthetic theory. Organization is clarity, clarity is confidence, confidence is trust, trust is comfort, and comfort is appeal. It doesn't really matter how you phrase it, but hopefully you get the general idea behind aesthetics as requiring a mutual subconscious trust between artist and viewer. You're probably aware of how functionality can lead to good design. I would say that's partly because functionality can be an important factor in establishing trust. But if you want to have a bit more fun with your designs, you can also seek out feelings of trust elsewhere in order to give yourself extra wiggle room for creativity. That's honestly the jumping off point for a different aspect of design theory, the subject that I refer to as anchor points, but I'll keep myself focused on the topic at hand.
Okay, I'm very confused here. What the hell is he talking about?
Regardless, for theories, it's always best to break things down to their core ideas. So, getting back to economics, our goal on most designs is to save as much information as we can, to be as thrifty as possible with the way we show ideas so that we can spend excitement where we want it. Hopefully the shape appeal video gave you insight into how to make very economically efficient shapes. Shapes that are clear in intent without wasting any extra attention on themselves. But designs consist of lots of shapes, and aside from giving them size hierarchy, aka big, medium, small, as well as composition, aka a controlled focus for your eyes, what else do we want to keep in mind with these shapes? Well, that would be the economy of complexity. Let's ask ourselves, what is the lowest economy shape we can make? Just the simplest thing possible. Maybe a circle? We can stretch the circle, make it more organic, and still leave it at a nearly flat economy. However, if I start to pinch it in or create angles, that certainly starts spending some of our savings. Once we start really adding disjointed forms and complexity, that is when the spending gets out of hand and the economy goes off the chart. Having said that, if we do nothing but save and spend no economy, then we're also going to get a fairly boring result, which can be okay for things that we don't want to be interesting, maybe background characters and other nonsense. That is not the goal, however. The goal is to know how to save and be cheap so that you can actually spend those savings in the places you want and make exciting designs that don't overwhelm the viewer with a sense of confusion and chaos. So it's good to at least practice how to make things with a very low economy. This is where we can use the concept of flow, which was discussed more in the shape appeal video. But flow is a term that I define as the losing of individuality in shapes in order to form a larger totality. The example I used previously consisted of a leg standing on its toes. These quick drawings don't represent a crazy high economy or anything, but it is a place where using flow to cut corners can save us some money, giving us more to spend in the other parts of the drawing. So
okay, this is very interesting. It's just the fact that he's using the word economy, which is something like, I don't know, a term. I don't know if this is a term that he coined or just like using it as an analogy. It's not working for my brain. It's getting
flow to combine many shapes into less shapes, and now we have an economically efficient version of the drawing. But once again, that's not where the concept ends. It does remind me of something though. Let's actually take a moment to exhume the corpse of Concord, a big budget game that was largely panned for its trying to be horrible lack helping to guide you. Quite common after the game released to see people trying to fix them. Some people referenced pretty constructive ideas, such as the horrible lack of value hierarchy, as well as color hierarchy, where neither one was helping to guide the eye in any meaningful way, and any feeling of focus just kind of washed over the designs. Some people's corrections just consisted of making it look more like a separate thing they liked, which is kind of a neutral step, but the one thing I would consider the most important critique was the awful use of silhouette economy. The designs are so stingy with the silhouettes. I would definitely be willing to get this art team to manage my finances because they're pinching every penny out of these designs. The very few times I have seen the designs spend economy, it seems to be in the strangest ways. We're really in the design soup line here, boiling our shoes for sustenance while sitting on a mountain of cash that we're afraid to spend. The masses are begging, please sir, give us just a taste of peaks and valleys, maybe just an ounce of freedom from the shackles of our core silhouettes. Of course, in any work we do, we can spend our design economy on some big peaks and valleys, some disconnecting shapes, and maybe even some acute angles here and there. If you've been saving up your design bucks, these can feel great to throw on a design. Obviously, within reason, a ridiculous peak or valley can look jarring on an otherwise super skimpy design, but there's also a lot of factors like implied negative shapes and line interactions that really just come down to feel. You can think about something like deer antlers, which seem to be absolutely wild for balancing design economics, but because of the organic flows of movement, they can still look quite beautiful in reality. As an art teacher, I see tons of art from all skill levels all year long. I can tell you that one of the biggest things that hold back most artists is their ability to manage their design economies. It's usually the big spenders, not holding back anything, making everything needlessly complex, racking up credit card debt on every design they put down. But sometimes you do get people that are way too conservative with their design spending as well. It takes a while to develop the right awareness for this stuff, and that's okay. So what is the right awareness? How do you know how much to complicate or simplify a design? Well, I can give you a generic answer like 80% simple and 20% complex, but there's no exact rule. As long as you're within the margins of reasonable taste, you're free to be either high economy or low economy. But it must be done with full intent, awareness, and confidence. Just make sure your points of excitement are budgeted for elsewhere in the design. As with all things in art, the best way to get better is through observation. So at the very least, try to develop the skills to look at a design and actively think about the economics of the silhouette it's giving you. Here's a quick analysis of what I would be noticing in my little avocado samurai. You might notice my balances tend to be on the cheaper side. Regardless, you can even practice with the intent of adaptation and analysis. Let's try drawing the silhouette of a bush or any shrubbery. You can make it have zero economy, where you're not even giving the viewer contextual information of what they're looking at. Or you can make it have an extreme economy, where you're beating the viewer over the head with your lack of confidence that they will understand what they're looking at. But you can also just figure out what feels right to you. As a fan of cheap economies, I like finding...
Okay, I like this. I like this a lot. Let's take it back. I have seen that, but it's a bit advanced. It's pretty common term in art. Brush economy, shape economy. Really? I haven't really heard about that before. That's really interesting. Maybe I should get used to it then.
Sure, any shrubbery. You can make it
I like this because I don't know. I find myself I'm in a stage right now where I'm starting to think about line weight. I'm starting to think about what really what I want to like show or lead the viewer's eye to, and then that's like with bold line weight, and then like the stuff that I don't want the person to focus on is like with lighter sort of like line weight. I'm starting to think about that. I haven't been executing it yet, but it's something that I'm starting to think about. Another thing is about this, precisely this. These sort of like shapes. Mostly I do some of this like with the hair, because it's maybe it's a bit complicated for me to draw hair just fully textured and everything, but it also doesn't work when you draw a hair just like with a simple continued line, right? So this is very, very interesting.
That they're looking at. Or you can make it have an extreme economy, where you're beating the viewer over the head with your lack of confidence that they will understand what they're looking at. But you can also just figure out what feels right to you. As a fan of cheap economies, I like finding the bare minimum of what gives the knowledge to the viewer in the least amount of information.
Right.
You might enjoy spending a bit more, but as long as there is confidence in the intent, the viewer will feel that in your lines and trust you. creating that thing we call good aesthetics. Alright, quick summation. Things that lower the economy in a silhouette are simple forms with no silhouette movement. Things that spin up the economy are sharp angles, shapes that counter the flow of the silhouette, detached shapes, pinch points, and so on. Your goal as a designer is to find the balance of saving as much as you can so that the places you spend it feel earned. I know it might seem like I'm constantly just throwing new terms at you over the years, but I am a believer that words help shape observations. So make them specific and use them to critique the world around you. This will make your brain better at design. Okay, I think that is it for this topic. I could also talk about how this exact theory applies to painting and color, where the savings come from things like shifting hue in order to create the feeling of value changes while saving on the amount of overall value movement so that you can then spend it more selectively. But that's probably something for an advanced painting video. So we're just going to wrap this up for now. Thank you to everyone that took the time to watch this video, and a big thank you to all of the Patreon supporters as well. Parenting is certainly a full-time job, so also much love and respect to all of the other parents out there.
Look at the baby.
Take care, everyone.
That's adorable. Alright, this is the first video, I believe, that I watch from Cynics. Definitely not gonna be the last. This is great. This was very, very interesting. It's like drawing a square with 4 lines as opposed to chicken scratching it over and over, spending your lines, hence brush economy. Wow, okay. I really haven't thought about it when it comes to chicken scratching. And that makes sense. Like, that's why chicken scratching looks so ugly. Because you're spending from you know, your economy, if I'm saying it right, you're spending way too much, hence it does look very ugly. However, when you sort of like save up, your lines become, or just like it's the opposite. When your lines become more confident and you just like, it's just like one stroke as opposed to 500, you save up and it does look good. That's another way to look at it. Like, this is making me look at it from another angle, really. That's very interesting. And I'm also trying to think of it from like a purely design perspective, not even drawing related. When it comes like to any composition or any just like when it comes to photo bashing or just on Photoshop or posters or what is it called, freaking in the Bauhaus movement, or just like typography even, you know. And typography is very, wow, okay, wait, oh my god. Okay, let's imagine just typography in like a poster or just like in any other design, right? Typography almost always is very consuming when it comes to the economy, right? When it comes to shape economy, at least. You've got, if you just like write in a word, or just if it's like a paragraph or a sentence or whatever it is, that like type in and of itself is very consuming, because there's letters have a bunch of angles and shapes and, you know, round shapes and all that stuff. And this is even me talking about like the sans serifs. I'm not even talking about the scripts or the serifs or the decorative typefaces. This is just a regular sans serif. Even sans serifs have a lot of just like shape economy, and they're very consuming. And so it's very interesting how most popular and the best posters have like type and then a lot of negative space, or just like some type and some very soft shapes around it, right?
and that just gives it sort of like that balance, right? That's very interesting. And also you can think of it from the perspective of just like when it comes to design, I feel like contrast is key. Or maybe let's limit that to typography. When it comes to typography, contrast is key. And so when you have like a, maybe we can steer away from typography. When you have just like some design that really doesn't have typography, it doesn't matter. But there's like some shapes that are just like a certain way. Let's say like very rounded shapes or very spiky shapes. It's good to have the opposite in the same design, because if everything in the design or in the composition is just a bunch of like spiky shapes, that's not interesting. But when you have a bunch of spiky shapes and something in the middle is like, for example, round, that's more interesting, and you're gonna attract the attention to that little round shape. Which but this brings the idea of just like him saying there is no strict rule, because you can spend a lot of from you know the shape economy and still have something good that's visibly good. Like Cynic said, 80-20 rule, 80 negative space and 20 positive, or vice versa. Yeah. The contrast, right? That's a very high contrast. But I think, like he said, it's not something that you can't break. It's not like you can't go 50-50, right? You can go 50-50 and still end up with an aesthetically pleasing composition to look at, you know? Yeah. This is really good. That was very informative. Thank you for suggesting it, really. I appreciate you, Keanu. Alright. This is it. This was it. I don't know if I've showed you. Have I shown you this, Keanu? Oh my god. I've been drawing these. These are from Mob Psycho. This is something that some stuff that I do. And this I actually drew on the train. This one. I don't know if this is gonna be visible, but can you see it? I don't know if you can. It's cool. His anatomy videos are the ones I binge. We'll go on that. I think he's very well known for the hands, the anatomy of the hand. I back when I used to draw hands, to learning how to draw hands, I've seen almost all the hands tutorials. There's this one where they're like, do not follow Cynic's advice or something like that. Beautiful work, thank you. Was that a pen drawing? This was pen. This was what is it called? Bullet point. Bullet. It's just like this. I don't know. This one right here. This is the villain from the show. This is Reagan. I almost never have him look like him. This is a hand I drew, and this is some guy. This is one of the villains as well. And this is supposed to be his mouth, but it ended up looking like his mustache, so I just went with it. Ballpoint pen, yes. And this is some other stuff as well. This is like a week ago. I really like this one. This is my favorite from this page. That looks beautiful. This is a hand. I was trying the perspective. This is one of the villains. This is some sort of like pose. This is Mob, beautiful Mob. And this is also Reagan, and I ended up messing him up. So yeah, whenever I like find the chance, I try to squeeze in something and draw something, which has been very fun. Like I think I'm having like the most fun ever so far drawing. It's really fun. Yeah, anyways. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you. Keanu, thank you for the recommendation. Probably going to be watching more of his videos. Maybe after the you know, this month's challenge, which really I didn't feel like it was a challenge. I was just like, you know, drawing, following some of the videos. It's kind of unfortunate that I wasn't able to finish a good section. However, it's fine. Yeah, we'll be good. Also, whose art style do you want to imitate, or do you find appealing? Oh wow, that's a good question. I like Jujutsu Kaisen's work. I think the strokes is what I like the most in Jujutsu Kaisen's work. Manga, JJK manga. They're very I don't know how to describe it, but you can feel the confidence in the strokes. I've seen a video from TikTok about, I don't have TikTok by the way, I just seen it on YouTube. How the artist, the mangaka for Jujutsu Kaisen actually uses 3D models to sort of like speed up the process of drawing his manga. Very interesting. But yeah, I like the strokes on Jujutsu Kaisen, and I like Mob Psycho as well. Mob Psycho. I like the anime. I'm not sure about the manga. I haven't really seen the manga. Yeah, the manga is very... No, I don't like the manga at all. The manga looks stupid. I'm sorry, but it looks very stupid. The anime looks way better. Look at this. This is not even anatomically correct. They made the anime look so much better. So I like Mob. I like the old school Yu-Gi-Oh as well. Yu-Gi-Oh manga art. When it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh's manga, I like the shading. Like this is a very distinct style for Yu-Gi-Oh. Let me find, yeah, this one for example. Like the shading, it's very low contrast, but it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I guess there is some contrast here, but it's just like, I don't know what it is. It's very distinct. This is from Kazuki Takahashi, who is the artist for Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't think this is him. Yeah, there's a whole dual art. Dark Magician Girl. Cynic's ink drawings. Wow, okay, this is beautiful. Dude, seeing stuff like this is like, you know for a fact this man drew this in like 5 seconds, even less maybe, and it ends up looking better than anything I've drawn for the past year. That's insane, bro. Drawing faces from any angle. Crazy stuff.
crazy stuff. And like, it's not even shy. Like, they can mess up the anatomy. This is anatomically incorrect, kind of, like, right? You can feel like something is wrong here. However, it still looks pleasing. I don't know what it is, but it does look beautiful. This is great. This is just great. Amazing. Like, do you ever see a head shaped like this? No, but it still works because shapes. Pleasing looking shapes. That's what it is. You don't have to follow anatomy. I mean, obviously, I feel like when you're beginning, maybe you should, but then you can just like break the rules. Anyways. Alright, it's about time. Let me just like go to bed real quick. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, we're gonna end the stream. Another day, one more day, and we get out of the watching Proco. We'll stop, and then we're gonna start drawing portraits. We're going back to portraits, and this time we're going to I have like this idea for the portraits. I'm going to make portraits to make portraits, and we're gonna turn them into posters. So we're gonna hop on from Photoshop to drawing, from drawing to actually designing, and you know, I think that's gonna be very fun. Yes. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.